What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy, and we're back with another episode of Qualified TV. Got another gem. Promise y'all, telling y'all every interview, every episode, it's another gem, another great guest. I will let her introduce herself, and then we are going to get into all the amazing things that she has going on. But let the people know who you are, and then we'll just get into the interview as we typically do.
Okay. Well, I am Tamära Stackhouse. I am an actress, model, voice artist, and now producer based out of Atlanta, but I be everywhere.
Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, that's even more to get into. Well, perfect. So, as far as acting, did you always know that acting was going to be something that you were going to do in some way, form, or fashion, or was that more so of a newfound kind of passion as you got older or became an adult?
um, well, I growing up, I felt like I was always gonna do something with storytelling or I felt it, right? But I didn't necessarily follow that path. I kind of did everything that I felt like I was supposed to do, even going to college and what I majored in, until I didn't find acting as my avenue until my junior year of college.
Mm,
And, two things happened that year. Um, I did a pageant.
you did.
I did Zeta Alpha chapters.
Now, look, you trying to remember?
I just feel like I gotta shout y'all out. But I did the Miss Black and Gold pageant at Mizzou, and I wrote a monologue. I really, really did not know what I was gonna do, because if you would have asked me if I was younger, I felt like I was gonna be more of like a dancer or something, and then I lost that along the way. But I decided that I was gonna write a monologue about everything that I was going through at the time, and then I threw a little piano in there and a little slight singing, but ended up winning the pageant. Used some of that money to study abroad, but like the feeling of being on stage felt, it was crazy. Like I feel like I blacked, the way that I describe it is I blacked out during my performance because I don't remember it. I just was performing.
Okay.
And I was very, very surprised that I won. I didn't expect to win at all. I was just doing it just to do something different. And so when I won, that was kind of like an affirmation. And then shortly after that, and this is like my dream, right? I'm walking in a bookstore downtown, and somebody was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about acting?" And I'm like, "I don't know, what's up?" And she was like, "I'm casting for this project." So one of the girls, like a lot of, there are a lot of film majors at Stevens, which was up the street from Mizzou, and there was a student there who was doing her final project, and she had asked a friend of hers to cast that project. And she was like, literally, I see this character and you are exactly what I saw. Like, would you do it? And I'm like, absolutely. And that was my first time that I can think of outside of like high school projects and stuff of being like on camera, being on set. And it was all women's, Stevens is a women's college, all women set, crazy first experience. And I was like, oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm doing this. And I decided to finish my degree, but I was like, I'm doing this. When I graduate, that's when I'm gonna go head first into this.
Got you. Yeah. So I mean, because I was going to ask as well. So not training technically like for acting until after undergrad, when you kind of had these moments, did you, I wouldn't say that you, I wouldn't ask if you felt that your time was wasted, but did you kind of feel like you wish you had the opportunity to learn more or take that time in college to learn more things specific to acting or just the industry, let alone?
I would definitely do it differently, but I don't want that to be mistaken for like I have any regrets.
Yeah.
Very, very happy with how things have gone and how they're going. But just having that wisdom and knowing like this is now where I'm going, I feel like I would do it differently for sure. I'm torn because like I'm half my experiences and like my real world approach is what makes me who I am, especially when I get into a character. I pull from those experiences, and I just feel like I would have had different experiences if acting was my life before now.
Yeah.
However, like I really am like appreciative and stuff of those experiences, but I think just knowing what I know now, I probably would have started training earlier and really just got into this sooner. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
No,
I feel
that's
like that was like not a real answer.
no, it's okay. It's a perfect answer. I always, for people that, and especially in an industry like that, because there's no stereotypical path to acting. I mean, unless maybe you're a child actor and you start early, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who find it, it's not, always the case that you did all this acting training as you were growing up and then you started getting roles when you were, 18 or got out of college or whatever the case may be. So it definitely answered the question. So after having that opportunity, that was your junior year that you actually got cast in that project.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like, that first project or first opportunity post undergrad? Actually, like, what did that just look like in general, life for you at that time? Post undergrad, you've decided, after I graduate, this is the lane I'm going to go in. What was that first year or so like, as you were really, I guess, trying to train yourself and build yourself up, and build your resume up to start getting opportunities?
My first year after graduation. Sorry. I just can't even believe like that I am where I am to where I can answer these questions,
Mm.
because that first year you're like, I want everything and I want it now. And so I couldn't even see, 5 years later of me being able to tell you, like, this is how I felt and this is how I got through it. So that's why I'm laughing. But the first year after undergrad was very, very depressing. I felt like I was in limbo. I'm like, how am I going to catch up? So that's where that, like, do I wish that or do I feel like I would have started pursuing it earlier if I knew? Because I felt like I had to play catch up. I was doing an immense amount of research. I'm a big, big researcher, and I was actually on my way to LA. So first year, I my family's from New York, so I initially moved to New York, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use my degree, but I'm going to be here, and I'm also going to be pursuing acting. And it just did not work out. Being broke in New York is being broke down and bad. Like, it's just, I was like, this is not going to work for me. So I moved in with my mom, stacked my bread up. I was working jobs that I absolutely hated because I wasn't finding anything in my field that I really wanted to do. And honestly, I had tunnel vision. So like I was working dead end jobs, or jobs that allowed me flexibility so I could take acting classes and, spend time doing my research. And so I was on my way to Los Angeles. I had a plan. Me and my friend were moving in together. We was gonna move in this house, pay $1,000 each, all this crazy mess. And a mutual friend of ours was like, have you ever thought about Atlanta? And I'm like, why? Not even thinking. And then all of a sudden I started like some of my favorite shows at the end. I don't know if you noticed like that it says Georgia and has the peach, like
Mhm.
everything that's filmed in Georgia, it has that. Um and then just started looking stuff up, and like I didn't realize the industry was really booming. I knew that they were filming stuff, especially knowing like Black Panther was mostly filmed out here and everything. The first one and the second one, but at that time the first one, and like I just was really surprised And so I started doing my research on Atlanta. A lot of research. That's the theme. And then I finally decided, I think I took a birthday trip out here and spent half of it looking for housing. Once I found an apartment, I was on my way. And I would say that that was like the first year, that journey.
Okay. Okay. Do within that first year and within the struggles of that, if you will, do you feel like that's where you really found out that acting was your passion, or did you know that beforehand anyway?
What I learned in that first year was that I was going to have to go in head first. I already had that passion for it. So that's what allowed me to like, okay, I'm taking this year to work these jobs because I'm going to get to that. Like that was like my grinding year, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I hate this job. I didn't hate my life, but like I was I wasn't content with everything that was going on, but it was all in the sake of like I'm gonna move to Atlanta. And I just my expectations, I thought that I was gonna be out here for like 2 years max, give me some credits. I thought I wasn't even gonna have to work a job. I was gonna just do background work. Like I had it all mapped out. Once I got here, I definitely learned that that was not gonna be the case. But that I feel like that's what I learned in that year was like it'll all be worth it in the end. Like I'm just gonna keep going, keep going.
Yeah, no, that's definitely real. So what was actually the first opportunity that you got in Atlanta? And when did that happen? Like how long after you got there did it happen?
That's a great question. Well, I do remember my first opportunity into the industry was I was at an award ceremony um honoring like a casting director out here, and I had met a director who wanted me to be in a music video. And I had never approached like negotiating a contract or like discussing any professional details before. So I'm just like, okay, I didn't really move out here for that. I'm thinking this in my head. Like I didn't really come here to be in music videos or do any reality, anything. Like these are like the first things that were coming my way. And it was a terrible experience. I didn't even make it to the set. It was a terrible person. He was so offended that I asked if this opportunity was paid, which I at the time I still do, but now it's like you got to speak up for yourself because nobody else is going to. At the time, I had such anxiety about asking him, like, am I going to get paid? Like, I was scared to ask him about my money. And he absolutely was not going to pay me. It was not a paid opportunity. And he could have just said that. But the way he went about it was so ugly. He said terrible things to me. And that was my introduction to Atlanta, amongst other things. But that was my introduction to this industry. And I was like, wow, this is
That
going to be
is that is tough, but definitely want to put a pin in that because I definitely have a question about your just
Oh,
experience
it gets.
in the industry.
I have so many. I could write a book.
I did look. I need the first chapter. I need the first chapter. That's all I'm gonna ask for. All I'm gonna ask for is the first chapter. That's it.
My
But,
God.
but okay. So what was the first opportunity that you took
Was
that you actually that
successful.
was successful and memorable? Yeah.
Shortly after that, after doing more research, I had signed up for what is it called? Central Casting. They have different divisions for each what's it called? Market, right? You got the northeast, southeast, midwest, and west, or LA. And I did the southeast. They cast you as background for different projects, and my first background role was on Dynasty
Mm,
on Netflix.
mm,
and I was a soldier. Actually, I lied. I think they put me in like Air Force. Either way, I was in dress blues. I'm a military brat. So it was really funny because I started channeling my mother. Like I slicked my hair back how she does and stuff. But I was in dress blues in like a ballroom scene on Dynasty. And that was like my first time. And so I went there to like study. Like I don't even care about being on camera. I'm like, what are the actors and actresses doing on set? Okay, they're referring to somebody as the DP, AD, first AD, who's first team, who's second team. Like I'm literally there to absorb everything. Like I didn't even want to be on camera. I was definitely I was eventually they established me. So like you'll see me there. I'm like plotting a speech or something like that. So they did establish me on there. But I was like, I don't want to be seen because what if I audition for it and I can't be the soldier. And so but that was my first time being on set.
Okay. And that's no, I'm really glad that you gave insight to that, because I feel like, at least from the small snippets that I've seen, in terms of what you posted, on your Instagram over the years, I would see you being, acting classes and things like that. So it's really interesting to hear your perspective of being background and really focusing on, okay, but what are the people who are where I want to be? Like what are they doing? Because that's the best place to be, where you can really just be a sponge and you may not carry, I'm imagining, a lot of responsibility other than just being, a prop for a scene. So yeah, what do you feel like was the biggest lesson you kind of took away from everything that you were studying in that first opportunity?
One thing I noticed was that I thought was really, really funny was they had sides and they were like able to dang, I don't know if I want to say this. I'm not gonna. You know what? You never know what's going on. But I was very, very surprised that they were able to. I'm brand new. That they had their sides. One of the actresses had her sides like stuffed in her dress, and she kept looking at the sides like when they would cut, and so she's reading her lines and she put it back in. And I'm like, that's so crazy because I feel like I already have a leg up because I'm gonna come off book. Like I just knew, now I've learned and everything, and I do always come to set off book, but like every now and then things change last minute, all that stuff. But at the time I was like, you mean to tell me I could carry my lines around? I got this in the bag. But that's just like my little funny moment. But on set, I realized that it's very, very hectic. It's very hectic. It is a machine that so many people play all the different parts, and like you see the actors, you see the story, but there are so many people involved that make that story happen. And I don't think I really, of course you know that, but it's just not something that you consider when you're trying to be in front of the camera. There are so many people that you need to make that machine move. You know what I mean? And that was my first time finally seeing what was behind the curtain,
Okay. Yeah. Man, I can only imagine. Like I know very, very little, as far as like production,
And it was
but I can only imagine.
and it was a wonderful first experience because it was such an elaborate scene. It was like an ensemble scene. Like all of the cast was in this. This was a big moment. So it was shot the same scene. One scene was shot over multiple days. They got so-and-so's coverage because they're doing something in the back of the thing. They're getting her coverage because she's giving the speech. So-and-so stealing this while so-and-so speaking. And then there's a moment where two people are having like a romantic moment when they're dancing. Do you know, like in those shots where they go around, there's like a machine that they stand on and spin. And it was just it was beautiful. And I fell even deeper in love.
No, that's amazing. That's beautiful. So at this time, as you're taking opportunities, what's the balance of, okay, you're acting and you're trying to find roles there, but then also modeling, and then where does voice acting come into play in the midst of all this as well?
I had no intention on modeling. Modeling, like came to me out here, and that became my hustle.
Mm.
I realized, and I wanted to, I think I just wanted content to post on my Instagram. And I asked my roommate at the time if she knew any photographers. No, I lied. It wasn't content. I was trying to get in nightlife.
Mm.
So it was content, but I was trying to change up, just like post pictures,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful pictures, because I was trying to be a bottle girl, make some money. So I asked my roommate if she knew a photographer, and she did, and he was still trying to build his portfolio. So for $50 we took pictures for a couple hours, and I posted them. And like at this time, like hashtags really got you somewhere. So hashtag Atlanta model, hashtag Atlanta photography, hashtag da 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 da, and like photographers started hitting me up, and I paid for a photo shoot since. But so once these photographers were hitting me up to like work together and everything, when I would post stuff, other people would find me and be like, I want you to wear my clothing brand. Can you do that? I spent my first 2 years in Atlanta, even now still, but now I'm negotiating and making money. But I spent my first 2 years bartering and just making connections, and almost like 90% of the roles that I've booked has been off of word of mouth, somebody recommending me, or like somebody that I knew, met. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how modeling. Voiceover, I always wanted to, but for during the pandemic, my acting coach at the time did voiceover, and so she had like a free little Zoom session. She told us more about it. I'm literally always willing to learn something new, and when she told us about it, I was really intrigued. And so as a birthday gift to myself, I had bought like this really expensive class. And started learning, got my demo made, and then eventually started pursuing that and booking stuff for that.
Okay. How much fun do you have with that voice acting?
The voiceover? Oh my God, so much fun. And I was watching something the other day with my sister, and I was like, I really want to get into characters because I do like a lot of products or commercials. I did get to do an animation. It hasn't dropped yet. But I did get to do an animation, which that was fun, but it was still like my voice. So I want to try to get into like character voices and stuff. So yeah.
Well, if you got to choose, what character voice do you feel like you would go for, you would give if you got to choose?
Okay. I can't think of a character because it's not one. Can I name like a person? Like
Yeah,
somebody,
absolutely.
two people that I look up to is Cree Summers.
Oh, goat.
And Regina
Both
King.
goats.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I think today is like the 18th year anniversary of Boondocks. I just saw that.
It would track.
And she killed that. And she plays both of them.
Yeah.
So I want to be on that level where I want it to be like, did you know that Tamära did this? And like tells me that's the kind of character that I want to do. Like you wouldn't even know.
That's nice. That's dope. That's dope as hell. Let me see. So as an up and coming actress, you kind of alluded to a little bit before, but how selective are you typically, and how is your selection process changed in regards to, like you said earlier on, it's like, okay, I'm kind of, taking whatever I can to, get on a set or get my foot in the door. But now, since you've been able to have a few more roles, as you start to establish yourself more, how has that selection process evolved over time?
From the beginning, I had a lot of FOMO for opportunities. Because when you are starting, the first thing they tell you to do is go get some headshots. Okay, you're done with your headshots, they tell you to make a reel. And you're like fiending for footage. You're fiending for footage. I was doing everything. I was driving everywhere. I was saying yes to everything. I wasn't even so much as getting like an IMDb credit. Didn't know anything about cameras, so I didn't know what they were shooting on. So when I would get footage back, it was boo-boo. I did so much in the beginning, but you know, as people do, because you're learning, and if I didn't have those experiences, I wouldn't be able to know what I need now. As far as being selective, I'm not at a point where I'm like, I need the best of the best, and oh, please, do you know who I am? Do you know what I've done? I'm not at that level, and I'll probably never be like that. Who knows, right? But I do have particular questions that I ask. And also there's not a lot that I do for no pay anymore. Unless it's for a friend. I'm almost always supporting my friends. If I love the script, or if it's something that I'm trying to get into. For instance, I haven't pursued, even though I fell in love with acting, being on stage, I haven't pursued theater. I've been in film and television. Not pursuing, I've been in film and television. But because of this strike and everything, I'm like, you know, and I felt it before the strike, but I've always wanted to do theater to kind of like, I feel like it's not a rite of passage, but kind of like a paying your dues kind of. I have such respect for theater and theatrical actors and everything. So for like, that's something new for me. Or like my first couple voiceovers I was doing for free. But as far as acting wise, I know my talent now, all the training I've invested in. So there's just like, it has to be some kind of value. The story, the pay, even though if it's a terrible story, I don't care about the pay. I'm turning it down. I'm asking what you're shooting on. I'm asking, when you're asking me my rate, I'm asking, do we have a hair, makeup, and wardrobe? That sounds like, I used to think that sounded very like diva-ish. However, that is a part of storytelling too. It is people's job, and they get paid to say, this character needs to wear this because this is how they are. They need to have, you know, their hair done like this, their makeup done like this. So if I'm doing that for myself and also trying to focus on this character and coming to set, hair, makeup, and wardrobe ready. So like, those are things that I consider. And like, how long you plan on filming? Do you have a distributor? Like, I do have a lot of questions now, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm just like, oh, I'm not doing it. No, I'm above this. Like, I'm not like that at all.
No, okay, no, that's real. And I more so meant that selection in the sense of not even being particular, but just having the understanding of what you want to be part of, what your non-negotiables are. Yeah.
I know the non-negotiable is a non-negotiable for me would be I'm having a hard time thinking of something like off the top, but I do know there are things that just haven't felt right with my spirit. Or like, even I feel like with a lot of Atlanta projects want you to do like sex scenes and nudity. I'm I'm not doing that until I'm with like some major, or like it's gonna be like this incredible indie, but like, unless I'm with some major network, the pay is crazy, like this is gonna be my breakout something, which I don't have any problem with anybody doing it. That's my own personal preference. However, like, I've been asked to do nudity for a YouTube project and like just all this stuff, and no pay. No, I'm sorry.
What? No pay for
No
nudity.
pay,
That's crazy.
no pay. Like just somebody's indie project. Everybody, I mean, I guess sex sells, and so everybody just it's included in almost every project. And like there, I don't blame them because there are some movies that I watched growing up that like all these iconic sex scenes, like you remember, you
Yeah,
know.
you know this.
So, but that's how I want. If I were
Mm,
to do something like that, that's how I would want mine to be. Is like iconic, but also like I'm getting paid. Like
right.
I'm not gonna have to do anything else for a while.
That's
That's how I want it to be
that's real. That's
if I
real.
were to do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. I mean, I imagine that along with a lot of other things just add to the stress that comes with the industry in and of itself. So how do you balance the stress of the industry with trying to, stay positive, trying to stay sane? Like how do you just kind of, keep a middle ground and stay grounded in the midst of everything that comes with the industry, whether it be the business side, whether it be some of the other things socially that come with the industry that don't naturally align with maybe kind of how you are, in your regular life.
The best thing ever for me that has happened recently is like having a mentor, talking to someone who has done this before, who has been doing this longer than you, because sometimes you could really feel like you're crazy. Like people, as a woman and as a Black woman in this industry, I have been met with so many things in this short amount of time. I cannot even imagine what's behind the next door. But people will make you feel crazy for having boundaries or standards or an opinion or a feeling about something. And so, what has been really good for me is like talking to her and being like, am I crazy? Did you have to go through this? How would you navigate this? I've always been uh like a someone who learns from other people's experiences. I don't have to touch the fire. Like you could just tell me it's hot and I'd be like, okay, I'm cool. So I do love hearing like how other people handle similar situations that I've been in. As far as dealing with the stress, I try. I'm still in it. I'm still figuring that out. Um, my approach these days are trying to do things and focus on things outside of acting because something that when I stopped talking earlier, I had said um, acting allowed me to get out of my head.
Mm,
And the thought that I had that kind of threw me off my track was now acting is something where I need to figure out how to get out of my head while I'm doing it. It's
mm,
crazy how the tables turn. First, it started out as a passion. Now that I've made it my work, so things that help me is like I do dance classes, sewing classes. I'm learning how to skate right now. I'm learning Spanish. Literally anything and everything that doesn't have to do with acting, so that I don't start to resent the stress that I'm bringing, or the stress that comes to me now that I'm pursuing it as a career.
yeah. No, like though having those other hobbies are important. And again, I'm happy that you just shared insight into not only just your kind of experience um with handling the stress of the industry in general, but also specifically as a woman and as a Black woman, because obviously that experience is one of one, and not
Yeah.
always in the most positive way, unfortunately. So but with that also, you spoke to it a little bit earlier, but more so to that point, you don't have to touch on everything, and you definitely don't have to touch on the worst situation. But like I said, I just want chapter one. You know what I'm saying? Like what are some of these experiences in the industry that you had to overcome, and what keeps you going in the midst of realizing, like you said, that you don't even know what's ahead in regards to some of the things that you might have to, potentially experience, unfortunately. So yeah, what's the realm of things that you deal with, and how do you just keep going in the midst of it all?
I'm gonna say this without saying too much because you can't be silly. But I have dealt with people undermining my talent. I have dealt with getting opportunities just because someone is attracted to me and then, interested, dangling carrots, and thinking that they're in control, not expecting me to be like, well, F it, I don't need this. You know what I'm saying? I have dealt with footage being withheld from me because I didn't want to date someone or, be with someone physically. So many things. I've been on set. I've been pushed to do like stuff that wasn't discussed beforehand, but thrown in last minute, but like really not one of those things that you should throw in last minute. Just a lot of different lessons. I've dealt with a lot. I have dealt with a lot. More than some in 5 years, but also not, I know that there are people who have dealt with things way worse. One thing I can say is I'm so grateful for my discernment, my intuition. I feel like God is on my side, because what's for you will always be for you. And what an opportunity that's not supposed to be for you, it won't come into fruition, and you could want it so bad. And all these things happen, but it was probably for the best that it didn't work out. So I am, this is so weird to say, but I am really grateful for all those things, positive and negative, because it is only making me smarter. It's only making me stronger. It's only making me want it more because now I have to prove you wrong, So, and what was the second part of your question? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It was just more so, how do you keep going? Basically, you were already,
that's how I keep going.
Yeah.
It's just like staying motivated and knowing, just absolutely knowing, like, I'm not crazy. This is how I'm feeling about this, and I need to just follow my heart, follow my mind. You know what I'm saying? And it always ends up working out for me in the end. So just don't second guess.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's great. That's great insight. Switching gears a little bit, what would you say is your biggest strength and your biggest weakness as an actress?
My biggest strength, my biggest weakness, my biggest strength would have to be I always felt like I was an empath growing up. I just felt like I understood and felt things that I didn't even necessarily have to go through. I feel like that helps me when I am telling a story that I wouldn't necessarily understand or like go through or haven't gone through myself, but like that feeling, you find that common feeling. And I think that that's my biggest strength, is kind of that understanding and being able to portray that. My biggest weakness would be getting in my head because of I want everything to be perfect. I'm extremely detail oriented, and that works out on the producer side of things. But on the artistic side of things, like I need to be here and in the moment, but instead I'm like, Uh, continuity, or oh, should I have said it like this because I really want this to sound like this, or I don't know. So I would feel like that's my biggest weakness, is like getting too much into the details and getting in my head.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad you brought it up because I don't want to not touch on this. How did you get into producing, and then what was that first project that you were able to produce, and what was that experience like?
I got into producing because when I was still trying to figure out a way into acting and being on screen, again trying to be on set, I had did the background thing for a short amount of time. I knew that's not the path I wanted to continue to take, so I only did background a few times. So then I started to do production assistant.
Yeah.
Um, um, and you really learn about, if you're talking to everybody like you should and getting to know everyone on set, you really learn about each of the pieces. Like, we're eating lunch, I'm talking to the lighting guys, and what does this mean? And what is that? I'm talking to the gaffers, I'm talking to this person, I'm talking to that person, and just really getting in everybody's head. Um, and so once it came time, like a friend of mine was doing a project. She was actually doing a talk show, and she needed somebody to kind of put that together. So you go from pre-production, figuring out like the money aspect. When are we shooting? Where are we shooting? Who do we need? We need a crew. Who are you interviewing? This is going to be the schedule, all that stuff. Very good at that. My degree was in hospitality management with an emphasis in conference and event management. So the organization, I could do it in my sleep. And so doing that kind of like, it felt really good, because I like to be here and see all the moving pieces.
Mhm.
When you're in front of the camera, that's what you focus on. When we're up here, it's like, everything that's supposed to be done, you making sure it's getting done how you want it to get, or how it needs to get done. So that's how I got into it. That was my first time acting as a producer of a project.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a dope experience. I mean, the detail oriented aspect definitely, I mean, plays
You
right
gotta
into
care about everything, because each person, everybody, every department has their thing that they care about.
it's a machine.
Makeup, we gotta fix her makeup because da 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 da. But um, sound is like, hurry up, we gotta get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everybody has to care about their one thing, and so there has to be somebody that's like, I care about everything, and everything is gonna get done, and all y'all need to care about it too. So
yeah,
I really like doing that.
yeah. No, that's real. That's real. I have two specific things that you've been a part of that I want to ask about, just
Uh-huh.
because I am fans of these two particular people. How did you come to work with Akeem Ali?
Music video.
Was that the
I
music video?
No, absolutely
Oh.
not. This is years later,
Okay.
and I really enjoyed myself on that set. And I opened up I after that first experience, I'm like, you can't pay me to do a music video after
Yeah.
the stuff that director said to
Mhm.
me. But I actually was familiar with his music, funny enough. But his he's more than just the shooter. He's more than just the cameraman. But I don't know their work relationship. I don't want to get I don't want to get the title wrong. But a friend of mine was shooting the video,
Mhm.
and he had hit me up, and they just, I don't know, they just came correct. And it's really funny because I had listened to what's the one, Kimi Casanova.
Mhm.
Or yeah, so like I had already knew who he was. So when they came to me about it, because it was just a mutual,
Mhm.
and hired me for the project. I had a lot of fun on set. Got to dance, or got to dress like a disco. It's like he got that like old school vibe and
Yeah.
everything. So it was really fun. He's great. I was laughing the whole time. So that was a really, really good experience.
Yeah,
Atlanta is super duper small.
that's
Like
crazy.
hopefully you'll be watching somebody one day and you're working with them the next. I promise you. I have met so many people that I used to watch back in the day. Um, everything. Like it's just Atlanta.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. No, I became a fan. I feel like I was on the Late Show. I feel like I was like a year late, from everybody else. But once I became a fan, like
Yeah.
definitely keep up on it.
He's really cool people. I had a lot of fun doing that.
That's dope. That's dope. Last question before my final question.
Okay.
Um, what impact has acting had on your life in general, or how has it changed your life? That might be a better way to word it.
I think that I've matured a lot and grown thicker skin.
Mm,
Um, I'm just a sensitive person, and I used to want to make everybody happy. Um, but acting is so subjective, and you some people could really really love what you're doing, other people can think that you're absolute trash, and like it's really really none of your business to be concerned with that. So I think that's the biggest thing it's given to me was is thicker skin, believe it or not.
mm,
um and discipline, because like you need to stay prepared, because when opportunity meets preparation is when things really change. And so if you're not ready, something will pass you by. And I have learned that lesson for sure.
mm.
So I stay ready, stay on my toes. And I think those two things are like the biggest thing that acting has given to me.
Yeah, no, that last part, I tell everybody, it's always a gem dropped somewhere in the episode. That last part, that was the gem. I think that's something I've experienced as well. Just really understanding that, opportunity is nothing if you aren't doing the work to prepare yourself in the meantime, when it's not just like sitting there waiting on you. Because opportunities don't really, wait on you. Like you just got to be ready for
Yeah.
when they come. Because then
Yeah.
if they pass, then it's a wrap and you got to wait for the next one. So
Mm-hmm.
uh yeah, but man, final question that everybody gets asked on this show. We have talked about your journey as an actress. We've talked about all the other aspects of the industry that you've gotten involved with, that you're currently involved in, and we've even just touched on some of the things as far as like your growth and your journey as a woman, it seems, as well, as a Black woman specifically. So all those things encompassed, all those things considered, what would you say makes you qualified?
I
I
guess I
love
should have prepared this question.
I love that this question makes people think. I love that.
Woo!
I love the confusion on faces sometimes.
I'm qualified because I do the work.
Mm,
I do the work.
yeah.
I've been doing from the moment that I decided, from the moment I decide I want to do something, what do I need to do? Who do I need to know? Who do I need to talk to? I'm always always kind of, seeing how I'm going to get it. If I want it, I got it.
Mm.
I'm qualified because I do the work.
Look, short and sweet, and not everybody be doing the work. You know what I'm saying? So look, gotta be real about it.
We want longevity here.
Look, okay. Look,
Okay.
that's how you get it. That's how you got to do it. No, but thank you so much for taking the time, come on to the show, allowing me to interview you. I
Thank
definitely
you.
hope. Of course, I definitely hope that y'all watching took something away. If you are like trying to get into the industry, I feel like she gave a lot of insight and dropped a lot of gems on ways that you can do that, things to look out for, ways to stay prepared, things of that nature. And if you just a young Black girl watching this, or if you just a Black woman watching this in general, hopefully there's a lot that you can relate to. Hopefully she's giving you enough reason to support her. Obviously, I feel like she's worthy of being highlighted. That's why we're here today. But yeah, just want to thank you again for taking the time. And yeah, do you have anything else that you can or that you're able to plug right now, or just things that you have going on that you want people to potentially be looking out for to support?
Yeah, actually, I decided today I am going to actually be producing my own project, but I'm working on how I want to do that. Again, perfection is here. That'll be coming later down the road. But I think I want to document my journey, which is
Mm.
totally out of my comfort zone. So follow me on Instagram at Tamära Tamara signature. Um I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that. But I decided today that there's somebody out there just like me that wishes that somebody kind of broke this down for them.
Mm.
And, and just maybe it would happen a little differently if I knew these things ahead of time. And so I really want to be that person for people, for girls like me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'll be doing that pretty soon.
Okay. Well, y'all heard her. Make sure y'all stay tuned for that. And until next week and until the next episode, I will catch y'all next time. Peace.